Dear friends, welcome to Body Language and Travel Show. Today's guest is a mindset and transformation mentor, coach, and consultant. She specializes in performance for growth. She brings in her rich 30 plus years in experience in education and in leadership. More than 20,000 learners have benefited from her lectures, workshops, and classrooms. She uses different strategies for diverse learners. Her mentoring comes from her own life experience, from her education that she has obtained, and being a brain trauma survivor in 2017. She has experience in working with leaders, with youth, and committee members having global backgrounds. Please help me in welcoming Dr. Raman Gill.
Thank you so much, Ruxani, for your very kind, generous introduction for me. And I really thank you for having me at your platform and talk about today's topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being. It's a pleasure and an honor. Today's episode topic and the theme that you have inspired me is how do we bring uniqueness in our lives to succeed. This is actually, and we're going to talk about the mindset, about mindfulness to see the differentiation. We're going to talk about uniqueness, about education and growth mindset, and about career, and we're going to try to make it more obvious to people and to raise the awareness concerning the differentiations and the whole mindset concept. So my first question is, how do you frame actually the word mindset?
So the word mindset is a belief matrix, the belief matrix that leads to your thoughts, your actions on a daily basis. So it's very universal, the word mindset. Like if I'm sitting here in Canada, you're in the other part of the world, the concept remains the same. And this word was first brought by a scientist from Stanford University, Carol Dweck, with her decades of research. So she brought up this concept with her other research group, and she said there are two types of mindset: the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. So she was the first one
to bring to differentiation the growth and the fixed mindset, and then we go up to find the differentiation about the mindfulness and the mindset.
Yeah. So when we say mindset can be different types of mindsets. Growth mindset, fixed mindset, the spiritual mindset, the emotional mindset. But the two basic ones that we talk more about are, or what Carol Dweck she talked about, is the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. So the growth mindset, people with growth mindset, they're more confident. They have a positive inner talk. They have more self-esteem. They're always ready to take challenges. They are looking for solutions. They are always ready to learn more skills because they're open-minded. And then we have people with fixed mindset. People who have a negative inner talk. So because they have that negative inner talk, they don't feel confident. They're not sure in what direction they're going. They have no clarity. They don't like asking questions because they think that someone will think that they're stupid, and they're ready to quit. They quit very easily. They don't like taking challenges. So the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. And then, of course, even people who have growth mindset, sometimes they get into that mode of the fixed mindset. But it's important to know the basic differences between the growth and the fixed mindset.
Exactly. So now I want you to help us to see the small frame between the mindset and the mindfulness. What is the differentiation between these?
So the mindfulness is more at a micro level. When we become more aware of what we are doing, based upon being more aware of our senses. For example, when we're eating something, a mango, So you're eating the mango and then realizing how it tastes and how it's making you feel and what. So we think about it at a micro level. That becomes mindful. Or even, for example, mindful of being how we are talking to others. What kind of words we are using. We are really aware of all these little small things.
Oh, wow.
That is being mindful.
Oh, very interesting. Excellent. Absolutely excellent. I would like now to hear about the title that is the unique. So a lot of people, they are using the word unique. They want to be unique. They want to show off to the people that their uniqueness. They want unique relationships. They want unique careers. Everybody wants the unique. I want to see in correlation concerning with the mindset and the unique, how we can mark them and how we can combine these two.
Yes, that is so right, Ruxani. Everyone wants to be unique, and there are always people who are unique. They get attracted to those people. So now here, when we say about being unique, what the important thing is to have that mental control. So people, when they have that mental control, they become really empowered, and then people start seeing them as role models. And when people see them as role models, they are definitely unique. So it's important for anything to have that mental control. When you have that mental control, you become more confident, you are more calm, you have more clarity, and you are taking those decisions, and your actions are so powerful that you are not following others, but you bring your uniqueness through your own actions, and then people really want to follow you. You become the role models. It can be in any sphere. It could be sports, it can be in your teams, it can be in your communities. You bring that uniqueness by having that mental control. And having that mindset with which you show your behaviors, because with the kind of behaviors comes the results, and your decisions, and your results lead to your performance, and your performance leads to your attitudes. So it becomes a cycle for you. It's a reality making. And when that becomes a reality making, that consistency, when someone shows that consistency, that empowerment, that person becomes unique.
Exactly. It's fascinating. And I like all this circle, that is a life circle that you can follow in all of life aspects, like in your business, in your friendship, in your family, in the economics, in all the aspects. You are having this consistency in this circle of success. Actually, it's like a success circle. I agree. I totally agree.
It becomes a reality. It's a reality making.
Yes. It's not your like behavior, this.
It becomes so consistent that you bring that uniqueness, and people start seeing you as role models because you're being unique. You are so confident. You think in a creative way. Your strategies are different from the others. You're not following others.
Exactly. Yes.
That brings the uniqueness.
You don't follow. That brings the uniqueness. Yes. I want now to go to the school, because you are an educator. So to see if we can teach, our education systems can teach students the growth mindset in order youth to succeed. If we can do like that, if it is something easy, or we can, how we can do this actually.
Yes, a very important question, especially for the youth. They are at a stage with. So, for example, for the teachers, if the classes at a higher level, so I have been in classes of PhD students, the graduates, and even at a lower level in the schools. So, but the key thing is that the educators have to reframe these sentences, reframe the words to uplift the youth. Encouragement is very important. For example, if a child has not done well in a sport or in a test. So instead of just snubbing the child that you cannot, you're bringing that negativity in that child or in that youth who's already an adult. So by doing that, by using the negative words, you're building that belief system in that student that he or she cannot move ahead. So it's important that you reframe your sentences, your words. And as educators, or even as parents are also educating their youth and their kids. So it's important that they're always encouraging, and for that you have to be patient yourself.
How we can overcome these low evaluation, low degrees and marks in order not to disappoint the student and in order to increase the growth mindset?
Yes.
In which other way?
Yeah, so it's at every level, the child gives a test and you see the results. So if the child has not done well, say it was a great attempt, and I'm confident that you're going to do good next time.
Oh, perfect.
And then the child feels so good. The child in fact starts confiding in the teacher or in the parent and becomes more friendly and start showing that confidence. So it's a system, it's an overall personality that you're developing in the child. And it is through the reframing of the words and the reframing of the sentences, helping them not to quit. So parenting is also an art. Parenting, so when parents are themselves going through so much stress, and that stress is thrown on the kids, and that leads to a lot of negative environment. So it's very important that that kind of environment shouldn't be surrounding the kids. And it happens, it's common, like especially during the differences that we are having, those differences shouldn't be implied on the kids. Instead, keep encouraging them and never do the comparison. Never, as educators and also as parents, never do that comparison. Okay, Tom did better than you. Why come you couldn't score that much? So instead of doing those comparisons, lift that child, lift that youth. The youth, or it can take the child to take some time to move forward, but this is the way that you can really help. Step by step, the child will get empowered and show that growth. And in the classrooms, you can definitely do activities, especially activities through drawings, what a growth mindset looks like and what a fixed mindset looks like. Tell them, encourage them that how, if they are showing that growth mindset, how help them to visualize where they will be a year after or 2 years after, and when they're grown up, and how their life will look like.
Yes, all the system has to start from a very young age, from kindergarten actually. And small bricks to build the growth mindset to our students in order to succeed in their life. Yes, I totally agree. It's beautiful. And about all the advice. Yes,
definitely. At a very younger age, at kindergarten, they may not understand those 2 words, but at least by using those beautiful words for the child and giving that comfort, encouraging, that will really help the child.
Yes, Raman, you are right. It's so beautiful. It's not easy all the times because you are totally truth about the stress that the people or the parents or the educators they are facing. So, but also the parents and the educators have to be conscious about their children, about their students. I totally agree with you. So now I remember some beautiful words because they are correlated with what you have said about Nelson Mandela. So don't judge me by my success, judge me by how many times I fell down and I got up, and I love and I want your views about this, to share your thoughts.
It is about your, once you have a failure, you're still looking for solutions. You're still trying to grow. And because what matters is the end result. That really matters. How you're growing, what are the solutions you have taken? That is more important than just saying how many times someone has failed. Most important is the goal, the end result. That is more important. How the person has been successful by using different strategies and the solutions.
Stopping. This is also important because you don't stop. You keep on
Yes.
going until you reach your success and your dream or your vision. Yes.
Yes. So
Perfect.
through adaptability,
Yes.
adapting to the situation, the more you're bringing to your actions, more you're going to move forward. And what is the consistency on a daily basis, making those little small changes in your behaviors or in the solutions or the strategies, the daily consistent improvements you're making, that is going to help you. And then the focus, you really have to be focused. Only you and the commitment you're making. Only if you are able to make the commitment, no one else is going to help. Someone can tell you, can say a couple of times, maybe for a year, but until you don't promise yourself, you don't commit, you really cannot move forward. So these elements are really important. That you should be doing is being self-aware. Look at your rate of self-evolution. Until you're not self-aware, you're not clear. So the simplest thing one can do is score yourself from 1 to 10, from the scale of 1 to 10, whether it is your relationship, in whatever area you want to develop, your relationship, your finances, your social life, your career. So score yourself. That is really important. And secondly, build that intuitive mind. Once you build that intuitive mind by being more conscious and by being more aware, you become a better spouse, you become a better leader, you become a better friend, because you are more now intuitive and you are more conscious of what's going around you. And then thirdly, reflect. Reflections help so much, because when you're reflecting, you're thinking, what went wrong and how you can move forward. Reflections are so important. In fact, even for reflections in the classrooms, I will also like to add here, and it relates to the previous questions. The reflections can be done on a daily basis for the teachers as well. When you're getting before the students leave, the teachers, they give an exit slip, so the students are reflecting what they learned. And this can be done even in teams, for corporates, reflecting in a team even by one thing what someone did. So getting back to the self-awareness, as a person, you take the help of your friend, you take the help of your family member or a mentor, reflect back and see, what are you looking for? Where are you getting the energy? So just discard the things which drain your energy, because your energy is going to focus where you want to go. So reflections are really important, and reflections can be done through journaling, but everyone doesn't like to write. So you can do on sticky notes, and then put those sticky notes on the computer or even on the mirror. So there are different ways of doing reflections, because we are all different types of learners. And many times we really don't like, people are different, they don't like to write. But the key thing is to reflect, to think what things went wrong and how you can make the improvements. Reflections really help. So these three things, if you follow these will bring a lot of self-awareness.
Thank you, beautiful. So I would like to talk about now the career, because self-awareness will help you and to guide you to the ideal and to the purposeful career that everybody wants, to find a purposeful and meaningful career and a meaningful life too. So how a mindset, career will correlate together with transversal skills? I need you to share your thoughts about these three terms.
Yes, a very important question, especially during these days when people have lost so many jobs during COVID. And it's important to really have that strength, that you have transferable skills. You can grow. Sometimes people they get overwhelmed, that they cannot develop the skills, or they have reached a certain age, now they won't be able to grow. But it's important to understand that we are not hardwired. Our brains are not hardwired, and we can change the outcomes, and the skills are transferable. So especially the soft skills, they're so easily transferable. For example, the communications,
Exactly.
or the relationship building. These are very easily transferable from one job in the other job.
Exactly.
And also a specific question if I like to give is for educators, or for example, if they have learned how to make lesson plans. So in lesson plans, you have the objectives, then you also have the outcomes. And if you have to become an administrator, again, these are transferable.
Yes.
Because when you're doing meetings, you have to note down what are the objectives of the meeting, and what the outcomes you're looking for. So here again, you see an example of transferable skill.
Exactly. Across all jobs, actually.
Across all jobs, it is the matter of applying them.
Exactly. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yes.
I like it.
Understanding, writing them down, or taking the help of a counselor, and then see how you can transfer them in the other jobs. The skills are transferable.
Yes, they are transferable across. This is the good thing. The ones that got them, yes, it's a very good thing. I forgot the word, but you can help me here to make the connection.
Yes. Rukhsani, I remember when I was growing up, we were taught at that time that when the person attains certain age, he or she cannot build more skills and cannot grow. But now it has been more than 12, 13 years. Scientists have come up with, the research has shown our brains are neuroplastic. Neuroplastic means that the more you're building your skills, the more you have that open-mindedness of learning. The cells, the brain cells, we have trillions of cells. They're called the neurons. The more networking is formed between those cells. So if you look at the word neuroplasticity, neuro comes from the word the neuron cells, and plasticity means malleable. That means you can change, you can change the outcomes. So now science shows that age doesn't matter. Even at later age, for the seniors, the more you are applying through thinking. For example, someone is in 60s or in late 50s, by doing some certain activities like doing some quizzes, doing little, maybe for 5 minutes, doing some reading, you are helping your brain, helping your neuron cells to build more networks. So that is the concept of neuroplasticity.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Raman. Raman, thank you. It was amazing. I think I can stay here and ask you many questions because you are like a lighthouse for me. It's you are a role model, and you know this because you have all this self-awareness. That's why you have make so much work for you, and you know that already. It's no need for me to say, but you know you are a role model for a lot of people, and I'm very proud that I'm having you here. I much appreciated your presence and acceptance my invitation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rukhsani. It has been a great pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to more conversations with you. God bless you. You're doing an amazing work, helping other people as well through your conversations, and yourself being a coach. That's a big thing. Thank you so much. It has been a great pleasure. God bless you.